Hello, everybody. This is Georgiana and Meredith from Creativity for Kids, and today we are going to learn how to braid and bead friendship bracelets. So, Miss Meredith, take it away.
Thank you, Georgiana, and thank all of you for being here today. So, as Georgiana said, we're going to be doing some braiding and some beading of bracelets. And just to show you, this is what some of the braided bracelets look like. And this little displayer actually comes with the kit. So you can see those. And then on my wrist, as well as these are our beaded bracelets. And today I have 3 different beading jars for making beaded bracelets with me. We have our mermaid that have all these really cool mermaidy beads in it. We have our rainbow bead kit. See how they sparkle? Oh, it's so cool. And we have our unicorn beading set. So all of these beads were chosen with those themes in mind. So we're going to go ahead and do our friendship braiding kit first, but I will be asking you which one of these 3 you would like to do after we do this one. So we'll put those aside for now and we'll open up the box and see what's inside. Okay. We have our handy dandy instructions, which we will be using. We'll put those right here. And if you don't have a pair of scissors, you might want to go ahead and grab a pair just to help open up the bags. And you will need them for trimming your friendship bracelet string. So here's your displayer, and it's also the tool that you can use to hold your threads while you braid. And that's explained in the instructions, so we'll get there. We also have our little cards, and these little cards are meant to hold your bracelets so you can give them away to your friends or your family members or whomever you'd like to give them away to. So not only do you get to make bracelets to wear, you can make bracelets to gift. These are little stickers, and I'll show you how those are used. And these are our little papers, and I'll show you how those are used. And in here we have all of our colors of thread and our little needle threaders, which is very helpful in beading because we are going to be adding some beads to our braided bracelets. Just undo that. God, I love these colors. They're so pretty. Da, 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 da. All right, let's see. There we go. Pretty. And then in here are all of our beads and charms and lockets. So I love lockets because they're like little hiding places that you can put little special messages or little pictures or whatever you'd like. And Georgiana set out a tray for me here, which is very helpful. And if you don't have a tray like that, even a little dish or a little bowl, but something to kind of hold all of your beads together so they don't roll around your table would be helpful. So I just wanted to show you some of the little charms that you're given. So we have a rainbow, a cute little letter with a heart, a fun little flower, another different type of rainbow. And then these are our lockets here. Fun. And these are all enamel, so they're a really nice quality. And the other thing I have here are these cool little clasps. So you can clasp your bracelet on and off. And then, of course, all the different beads. All right, so let's get started. Okay, so using the rainbow, place the rainbow between your knees so the sun is up and the cloud is down. And it shows you a picture. So you'll be holding your displayer slash bracelet helper maker like this, but between your legs. So if my hands are my legs, you would be doing like this with the sun up and the cloud down. And I want to just point out here, like in between the little sun rays, there's little slits. See if you can see, kind of in the shininess. That is where you're going to put your embroidery thread, your bracelet making thread, in order to hold it in place while you braid. And I'll show you that. Okay, add a thread to the top of the rainbow displayer to hang. So we're not there yet. That's for the display. Right now, we're just going to use it to make our bracelets. So place the rainbow between your knees so the sun is up and the cloud is down. Place the loop of the bracelet into one of the slots between the sun rays. So we need to make a loop of a bracelet. So here we go. We have to choose 3 different colors. I'm going to go with this seafoam color and this peach. And I think yellow. Maybe pink. Sorry. Sometimes the hardest part is choosing which colors we want to use. So we'll go like this. And like this. So I'm just putting all of the ends of the thread together and kind of straightening our string. And then you put your string, you kind of like make it go in half like this. And you're going to tie the string together to create a little loop. So you can do that just by kind of tying it like a regular knot. Just like this. Did everybody get that? Does anyone need me to show you how to do that again? I don't mind doing it again with another 3 strings. Or, like we said, this video will be available online tomorrow. So now, I don't see anyone saying they want to see it again. So this is where you're going to put your threads in that little slot that I was talking about. So you kind of just saw it in there. You go back and forth until it goes in. Just like that. So from the top, you can see the loop is back here and all the other threads are up here. So this is just to make it easy for you to braid. And there's a couple different types of braids, but I think we'll just do a simple one right now. So to braid, you need like 3 separate, I don't know, pieces to braid. So since there are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 strings, we're just going to divvy it up by 2 strings each. Does that make sense, Georgiana?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
So 3 groups of 2 strings.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
That's what I meant to say.
That's what I heard you say in there.
Got it. Okay, and so how we braid, and maybe other people braid in a different way, but this is how I braid. You take the side that's on the left and you go over the center. And now this one became the center. You go from the side on the right and you go over the center. So now this one's the center. And you kind of just keep doing that over and over. And this is braiding. This is how you braid. So how I have our little sunshine on the table, if you have it between your legs, like I was talking about earlier, it will hold your string very easily. So it'll be a lot easier for you to braid than what I'm doing currently. Because what I'm doing, our little sunshine is like sliding around on the table. But for you, if you have it between your knees, then it will be held in place. I mean, it's not that bad, but it would be easier if I were able to show you to do this between your knees.
We have a question. Mine is very loose. How tight should it be?
Oh, it could be as loose or tight as you want it. So this is what mine looks like. And you can see up top is a little looser. And then down below, it got a little bit tighter. So it's up to you. If you want to loosen it a little bit, you could always go back in and just kind of pull the threads so they're a little bit looser. But we're not working with elastic or anything, so you can see I just stopped and the thread doesn't undo. So if you need to go back and just loosen it up a little bit, you can do that. And you can consider this like your first one as a practice. So there's plenty of string to do more. So you can kind of just get the feel as to how tight or loose you should hold your strings in order to create a tight or loose braid. So it's all up to you. It's whatever you like. And I guess I would like a medium. So a little bit loose and a little bit tight. So you just keep going. And I'm looking over at my instructions because I feel like I may have missed possibly a step or two. Okay, I did. So on the inside of our instructions, it explains that there's 3 different braids that we have shown on our packaging. So you could do any one of 3 of these braids and get a bracelet that looks like what we show on the box. So this is called the basic braid. And this is the first braid that's shown in our instructions. And if you know how to do this one, then you'll have no problem doing the other 2. So you just keep going. And I'm going to see how this fits my wrist. And I'm just going to hold it around my wrist like that. And I can see that the braid meets itself. So you can see here's where I just stopped and here's where it starts. So that tells me that we're done. So if you're done braiding, you can just put a little knot to stop your braid. Just tie it all the strings together like that. And that will keep your braid from coming undone. And now you can take it off of your little sunshine if you want. And you can add little beads or charms, or one of the little clasps to it.
The tongue twister.
Right. So let's see. Let's go ahead and just show how to add some beads. And I'll match up the beads to some of our strings. So let's see, do we show in here? Using the threader, add beads, charms, lockets, or clasps to the loose threads. Double knot the threads so they stay on tight. Okay, so I need a pink and a peach and a seafoam green. So we'll just use one of our threads here. So how you use the needle threader. The needle threader has a little loop in the back of it. Let's see. Can you see that loop? There it is. And I'm just going to feed the end of the string through that loop. So you can see just like that. And now I'm just going to put the tip of the needle threader through the beetle or the bead. Beetle?
Needle.
So much coffee today. I blame my coffee for these little interesting words I'm coming up with. And so you can knot your string however long you would like it. So I'm gonna knot it right here. And these are fun little dangles, so you can have like different lengths of string with the bead on it to create cool little beaded bangly type things going on. So just double knot it, and that knot, you want to check to make sure that the bead stays on with a double knot, which it does. So we'll do that one. And then the peach one, I'll put the green bead on. And I'll make that a different length than the first one. So a single knot. And then a double knot. So it's as easy as this to create a basic braided bracelet. So now our teal or seafoam bead is on, and one more, which will go on the pink string, which will be our peach bead. Okay, you get in there. And bead it right through. Just like that. And I'll put this one up closer yet. And single knot and double knot. So I only used 3 strings and put only 3 beads on them, but you can put as many beads on each string as you want. I just did that so you can see how pretty those look, just like that. And then you can take a charm if you'd like, or one of the clasps and put the clasp on. Well, before I do that, I'll show you this. So the idea of having these beads on the string is not only decorative, but it also acts as a way to keep the bracelet on you. So I'm going to trim these just to show you what I mean. Just trim the extra string off. And I'll trim this off too. I'll trim it like that. So now you can put your bracelet around your wrist and then feed the little beads through the loops. So it's easier if you have someone do it for you. But you're basically just putting each bead through the little loop, and that will hold your bracelet on your wrist because the beads will have kind of a hard time all going through the loop at the same time. So you can see it holds your bracelet on. So when it's loose, they'll be hanging off your wrist, or when it's tight, they'll be keeping it on your wrist like that. And that's the same idea for the charms as well. So for our next bracelet, I'm going to make sure that the loop is a little bit larger so we can use one of our charms to feed through the loop and keep it on your wrist. And if you don't like that idea, or if you want to kind of mix it up a little bit, you can just keep the loop small, and then you just use one of the clasps to clasp it onto the loop. So I'll show you the rope braid. Actually, ooh, I'll show you the scrunchy braid. So many choices. I'll show you the scrunchy braid next. So we'll do yellow, blue, and pink.
No, pink for Meredith.
I can't help it. I like pink so much.
They're good colors.
They're good colors too. All right, so just like I did before, you put all of the ends together and straighten them out. And then just fold it in half. So again, bringing all the ends together. And now you have, this is where the loop is going to be right here. And we want to make sure that our charm will go through the loop. So I'm going to make this loop a little bit larger. But you just tie all of the strings together and leave the loop loose enough so the charm can go through. Test it. Yep, charm can go through. And then you can put it back in your little sunshine. And the more that you use the sunshine to hold your bracelet threads, the easier it will be to put your threads in the little slots. But there's slots all around your sunshine and around your cloud. So when you're done making your bracelets, you can actually hang your bracelets off of your sunshine or your cloud, like I have here, to display them on your wall. So you can hang up your displayer and display all of your cool little bracelets. So the one that we're going to do right now is this one. And this is the scrunchy one, the scrunchy braid. But again, it's super duper easy. It looks like, it looks like it might be a little more difficult, but it is easy, and you'll see because we'll do it right now. All right. So it says, do a basic braid, but do not pull the threads too tight. All right. So we'll do a basic braid similar to what we did before, separating the threads into 3 groups of 2. Thank you, Georgiana.
That's what I'm here for. The words.
Wordsmithing in order for people to understand me. All right, so this time we're going to make it a little bit looser. And let's see. But again, you're gonna keep going until the braid is long enough to go around your wrist. I'm like barely holding the braid together. So this is very, very loose. And I'll just show you guys that. So it's very, very loose. Oops. Scrunch, scrunchy, scrunchy braid. All right. Going a little bit more. So it says, once the braid is long enough to go around your wrist, hold 2 threads in the center and scrunch the other 2 sections upward towards the top of the bracelet. So the 2 threads that are in the middle right now are the 2 pink ones. So I'm going to hold the 2 pink ones and just use my fingers, my thumb. So I'm going to hold the pink ones in place, and then the blue and the yellow, I'm going to just scrunch up like that. So this is what it looks like right now. So now you're going to pull the scrunch down until you get the look that you want. So again, I'm just going to hold the pink, kind of just bring the scrunch down. So kind of looks like little S's. S for scrunch. And if you find you don't have enough braided, you can keep going, which I'm going to do. But you're going to do the same type of thing. So you're just going to braid loosely. And braiding. And then you're going to want to end with the pink in the middle. And then scrunch. And then bring the scrunch down. And you can kind of play around with it, make it look as equal as you want it to. So this one is really loose. The other one I did was a little bit tighter, but we'll see. Yeah, so this one is a little bit looser. But I'm going to go ahead and end it here anyway. So again, you just tie a knot to end your braid. Pull it through. And take your loop like that. And equal it out a little bit more maybe. And then you can use your needle threader to add the charm to your bracelet. So same as adding the beads, you're just gonna put the thread through the needle threader. And instead of going through a bead, you're just going through the charm. Just like that. And you can just tie it onto itself. So 1 knot and 2 knots. All right. And you can add beads to the other strings or just cut them off. Just do that. I think I missed one. And then instead of using the beads to feed through the loop, you're using the charm to feed through the loop. And then it's the charm that's going to keep this from falling off. So it will dangle off your wrist, but also keep your bracelet on. Yay! All right, and then let's see what other braid we have here. We have the rope braid. So we'll do purple and green, or seafoam, and yellow. Need a little sunshine in there. Okay, so again, meeting up with our ends of our string of our embroidery floss, pulling it straight. And for this one, it says follow the steps for the basic braid, but use 4 threads instead of 2. Oh, so I only used 2 that first one. I actually used 3. So fold the 4 threads in half and tie a loop on at the fold. So right now I have 3, and we use 3 for the basic one, but you could only use 2 if you wanted. So for this one though, you need it a little bit thicker to create that rope look. So I need to introduce another thread to this one. And I think I'll do a pink.
No, I'm shocked.
I laugh because I don't mean to do it, but I always go for pink. All right. I have 4 threads, so this is going to be the thickest bracelet we've done so far. And that's okay. So we folded it in half, and we're going to create our loop and tie it. And I'll just make this loop big enough for either a charm to go through or use the little clasp for it. So about that big. We'll put it through our little sunshine. And since this is thicker, it might take a little more effort to put it through the little slot, but it fits. And to do this one, it says 4 threads in the middle and 2 threads on the outside. So 2 on each side. So I'm going to do the yellow and the seafoam, or the yellow and the green on the outside, and the pink and purple on the inside. So you can see there's yellow and green, and on the inside, pink and purple. All right, so now do a basic braid until you reach a length that goes your wrist. So what we're doing, it's basically just the regular braid again. So, but it looks different because you have 4 threads versus 2. So it looks like you're kind of just roping around the 4 threads with the 2 threads. And this one you don't want to keep loose. You don't have to keep it loose. You can just do a regular amount of pressure while you're braiding, and you'll see that it just looks a little bit different, and it's cool. It looks a little ropey. And you could do this with even more threads if you wanted. It'll have even more of that rope look to it. And I'll just share with you, this is a kit that I developed. And the research that I did in order to create these braided designs are all based on braids that people have done in people's hair. So this is not that they're called the same thing, but all of these braid designs were inspired by people's hair designs. So it was fun research. But I have curly hair, so many of these braids don't look the same in my hair than
I was gonna say, I've done the scrunch braid in my hair,
okay.
but I usually call it a snake braid in my hair, which I don't know if I want snakes in my hair.
Well, there's a braid that was popular when I was growing up called the fishtail.
Oh, yeah.
You know the fishtail braid? Yeah.
Mhm.
And of course, there's the French braid. But some of these braids work well for people like for hair, but not for making bracelets. But these work well for making bracelets too. Okay, I think, let's see, are we there? We're almost there. So, almost there.
French, there's Dutch braids,
Ooh, I have to see what that looks
box
like.
braids.
Yeah, there's a lot.
There's a lot.
There's a lot of different braids. And we'll tie it off and then I'll show you what this looks like. I could do this all day. This is easy and fun, and I love the results. So this one looks like more of a rope. And it's because the braids aren't, like the threads aren't evenly distributed. So again, it looks more like a rope. And I think, do I have, here's another example from the other ones that I did. And you can see it looks a little bit different as well. The colors are kind of like similar, so you might not be able to see very well, but that's another one. Oh, and this one as well. So this one you can definitely see. So this one I only used one on each side and four in the middle. So it created even more variation between the braid. So as you can see, there's many ways that you can play with braiding your bracelets, but those were just some of them. Now I want to do a locket on this one. So just like the bead and just like the charm, you can add a locket. And so we're going to just put the needle threader on. Thread it through the locket. And with this one, I'm actually going to tie another thread onto it, so it can kind of float a little bit. It'll dangle but float. So a nice double knot. I'll triple knot it. I have the thread. So we'll knot that on. And I'll put, let's see, will this go through? Did I make it big enough? Yep, that'll go right through. So this becomes your anchor, so it stays on your wrist. And again, you can decorate the other strings with as many beads or charms as you'd like. But for right now, since I want to show you other things, we'll just go ahead and trim those strings. And then I'll show you what you can do with the stickers and how you can add them to the little gift cards if you'd like to gift them to your friends or family members. So on this little locket, you can see there's like an empty space right here, and we provide you a little sticker that you can place right on it to decorate it. And the same with the heart locket. You can decorate the heart locket with your little sticker. So there's that. Oh, someone said I would wear these in my hair. That's a great idea. That's so cute. I love that. And then inside, you can write a little itty bitty baby message. Ooh, Georgiana, do you happen to have a pen on hand?
Somewhere.
All right. Let's see. So that's what these little pieces of paper are for. So if you do, thank you.
Yep.
If you do gift this to your friend, you could write them like a sweet little sentiment, like, you are amazing. You're amazing. There we go. You're amazing. And then just, you have to fold it up small enough so it will fit inside your locket. So I folded it hot dog style, and then hamburger style, and hamburger style again. Does everyone know what I mean? Okay, good.
I hope so.
And then into the little locket it goes. And close her up. And now you have a secret message to give it to your friend. That is so cool. Okay. Now, for real, this is how you should give it to them. You put it in the little card. So you have to undo it. So take it through the loop again. And then you can hang the charm part. Okay, so I should show you. On these cards, it's already die cut. So the little bracelet, like the part with like the tassels with the beads or the charms, it can hang out here in the cloud area. And then the rest of the bracelet goes inside. So that goes on the outside. I did that kind of quick. Right here's where the slit is. And I just slid that right through the slit. And now you just kind of like, not ball up, but roll up your bracelet. And you can like put it right in here. And use one of these little stickers, or if you have tape. You put it like that. Oh, and you can write a message. Dear Georgiana. Ooh. George.
A.
A. N-N-A.
Correct.
Dear Georgiana. A surprise for you. Oh, smiley face. All right. And then you can use another little sticker and close it up. And now you have a sweet little gift to give your friend Georgiana. Okay. Here, Georgiana,
Thank
I
you
made
so
this for you.
much. I wonder what's inside.
I know.
So nice.
All right, cool. So as I mentioned before, all of these little slits are around your displayer. So you just slide your finished bracelets through the little slits, and now they become your they become part of your display to hold your bracelets that you've created. And you can feed a thread through the top of your displayer here and here to hang it. And you can make that as long or as short as you want, depending on where you're going to hang it. So if there's is there any questions about this little set, about the braided beaded bracelet kit?
Oh,
No? Okay.
oh,
Cool.
they love it. How
Yeah, Tina loves our kit. Thank you, Tina. I love that you love our kit. I love it too. I love it because it's so easy. All right, and we're gonna do more easy stuff here with our beaded jar kits too. All right, so like I said, there's the unicorn beaded jar, the rainbow beaded jar. Oh, this is upside down to you, isn't it? There we go. And the mermaid beaded jar. So I need help from you. Which one should we open up and create a bracelet with? Rainbow, unicorn, or mermaid? Go ahead and type it in and we'll open it up and create a bracelet using these amazing, beautiful beads. Oh, I see unicorn, unicorn. 2 unicorns already. Mermaid. We got a mermaid vote. Anyone else? So far, 2 unicorns, 1 mermaid. Georgiana's got her hand up. What would you like?
I haven't opened the unicorn one yet,
Oh.
personally.
Well, I've done all of them, so you all are all in for a big surprise because the unicorn one actually has these really fun beads in it that look like little clouds, I think. Oh, and unicorns. Okay, we're gonna do the unicorn one because of our votes. But thank you all for voting. So let's go ahead and open it up. Oh, rainbow. Okay, well, we had a vote for each one of them at least. I love that you guys had such interest. And as mentioned earlier, or maybe it wasn't mentioned, but I think it was, all of these can be found at your local Michael's or online, and you can try out whatever bead jar that you'd like, or the braided bead bracelet kit as well. So I just opened that up really fastly. Sorry about that. So what you'll get when you open up the jar, I'll do it again. Whoop. You'll get your itty bitty little instructions here. Yeah. So perfect for parties, group crafts, gift giving, and more. You'll need a pair of scissors, and tape is optional. And for these kits and any beaded kits, we recommend using a tray or a towel on your surface so the beads don't run away, so you can pour the beads in it. Measure the cord around your wrist, add 3 extra inches, and cut. All right, so here's our cord, and this is stretchy cord. So we'll put it around my wrist and add a couple inches. So this should be good. And the couple inches is just so it's easier to tie around your wrist, or tie it and then put it around your wrist. Okay, now we're gonna pour our beads out. Oh, look how pretty. Oh my gosh, there's so many. I'm gonna use the top for the rest of them.
Then I got to a bigger tray.
There we go. So that's why this is good for parties too, because you are given so many and so much cord that you can do multiple beading, multiple bracelets with many of your friends at one time. All right, so now you get to just choose whichever colors you want. If you want to make a pattern, if you want to make it random, you can do that. I do want to pull out the really special unicorn bead. It's iridescent. So it's got that like pearly look to it. It's purple, but depending on how the sun or light shines on it, it's got that bluish tint too. And the way you bead is through the bottom, like his little feet, to the top where the ears are. So you'll see that. Sweet little unicorn. Boop. And then you're also given these beautiful little hearts also with that cool little shine on it. These have more of a matte finish, these sky blue beads. So part of the fun of these kits is that all these different beads are included in each set. So there's also letter beads in here because those are like super duper popular right now. So you can spell out whatever you want. Like I do have one that says splash. And this one has the heart-shaped letter beads and these really cool, like, I think these are called raspberry beads. Let's see if you can focus. There we go. It's like a rainbow raspberry bead. So this one, these are from the Mermaid bead jar. And then this one is from the rainbow bead jar. So these are the more traditional letter beads, but then you're given the star beads as well, and the faceted beads and the iridescent shimmery type beads as well. So I'm so glad that we're opening this kit so you could see the hearts, the unicorn, and then these are the block beads, the block letter beads. So I am moving some of these around so I can see what we can spell. Here's an R, a U, an A, an E. So you're given a lot of different letters, but I'm just pulling some out right now to see if there is something that we can spell. So what would a unicorn bracelet want to say? I have a V, an H, an A, an M, E, K, R, A, magic. Someone put magic.
I was thinking the same thing.
Yeah. Okay, let's see if we can find all those letters then. Here's a C. Okay, I have an M, A. I need a G and an I. So this is why it's a good idea to put down a towel. Oh, I got the G. All right, we're on a roll here. Don't worry, we'll get all those beads after after the class. They're rolling all over. I don't mind though. It's just part of crafting. Maybe we could spell magic with an A. Magic. Oh, with two A's, I mean. It sounds like I have an accent if I were to do that. Which I'm told that I sound like I have an accent anyway, so not a big deal. There are so many letter beads down here. I keep searching.
Can you spell dream? There was a D right by your finger.
Oh, there is one.
And there's a couple over here.
Oh,
Up. Yep. Keep going. Keep
dream.
going.
Dream is good too.
Yeah.
There's an E. Oh, there's an E. Here's an M. Oh, there's an M. Well, there's the other things I'm talking about. So like there's obviously multiple letters, but they have different colors, like they come in different colors. So I have an M that's light blue, but I also have an M that's dark blue. So then you can choose which color you want. So I think I will go with dream because I wasn't able to find the I easily. So we'll go with dream. That's a good suggestion, Georgiana. So here's
I'm
our
here for the words.
and you're very good at that. So here's our orange D, our pink R, green, no, light blue E, a pink A, and a light blue M. So here's our dream. Yay! And then I think we need some yellow in here. Oh, look at that. I chose yellow instead of pink. Yellow and yellow on either side. Ooh, and of course these beautiful blue beads that kind of match my sweater today. And we do need some stars, which, yeah, I know, I'm going there. It's the pink. And I'd love to have some faceted beads that are one of my favoriteest colors, which is also part of my sweater today. So we can do a little, so what I'm doing, and this is something that just comes naturally to me. I like planning out what my bracelet will look like. But if you're more of like a random, just see what happens, you can do it that way too. But I'm actually like placing my beads out so I can see what it'll look like. And there's no right or wrong way. If you want to, you can do it however you'd like. And my little unicorn will go here at the end. All right, so what we need to do first is, I think, tie a knot so our beads don't fall off. So, does it actually say that on here? Place a piece of tape or tie a bead on one end to keep your beads in place while you craft. So yeah, so I'm gonna just tie this white one on. And how I'm gonna do that, I'm gonna leave enough of a tail here in order for us to be able to tie it to the other side. So I'm tying this bead on to use as a stopper bead. And this is the elastic cord. So you will want to double or triple tie it in a knot, because sometimes the elastic cord likes to wiggle its way loose. And actually, even at the end, when you're all done, you can add a little drop of glue right on the knot so it stays in place. All right, and then you just bead away. So we do not provide a needle threader for this kit, but if it's easier for you to use a needle threader, you can, if you have one lying around, you can use one. But since this is a little sturdier thread, it goes pretty quickly. So just like this.
Let's see how fast you can bead under a minute.
I know, I didn't realize it was taking so long. It's because I really love these kits. Sorry, guys. If we do run out of time, I will take a photo of this and post it up on our on our social media accounts. So on Facebook, we can post what the finished product looks like. And I love seeing what you guys create too. So if you are also creating bracelets, please do send a picture, or not send, but post a picture up on our social media accounts, hashtag creativity for kids. And we would love to see what you create. And that's always, if you're doing any of our kits and you're enjoying it and you're happy to share, we are happy to see what you do. So, and I'll just do a shout out. Thank you to Michaels for hosting us. We love crafting on your channel. And thank you to all of you who are joining us today. And I hope today has been a very fun time, as much fun as I've had. And, oh, I have the last bead here. Ta-da! Okay. Dream. All right. And I'll tie it together, and now we'll have a finished bracelet to wear. And again, if you want to keep it nice and tight, put a little bit of glue on there so it doesn't come undone. But thank you all for for being here today. Happy bracelet making. Yay!